So, hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Turn 5 podcast, where we will be discussing the Qatar Grand Prix. First of all, apologies for not getting an episode out to you last week. Technical issues meant that wasn't possible. But we are back to our regularly scheduled programming. We had a sprint weekend this week, which meant an extra race to enjoy.
It's not a race. The FIA don't
Sorry.
like it when you call it a race. It's a sprint.
A session that we don't usually see.
Before the sprint happened, it was a sprint. After the sprint happened,
Suddenly
it was
a race.
definitely a race.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's round up the weekend then with instead of just talking about the race, let's have both your views on the sprint and the main race, please, Ben.
Good, bad, all sorts.
Richard?
That new track surface didn't look very good, did it?
And I actually had my friends up to watch the sprint with me, and we ended up talking about the conversation that we had a few weeks ago, and so I'll use that as my review. Is a race good if it's chaotic or action-packed?
3 safety cars in 19 laps.
Pretty chaotic. But it's going to live in the memory as probably one of the better sprints.
Yeah, that's
what
fair.
What were the other sprints? As Austria.
I'm not just talking about this season, I'm talking about in general.
I still feel like, was it Brazil 21?
Brazil 21 has been the best sprint we've had.
I don't know. Need to know what Licious sprints were.
Austria, Imola.
Nothing majorly exciting.
Oh yeah, Imola got cancelled. So yeah, we've actually lost a sprint this year then, haven't we?
There's Austria Spa. I feel like there's been one more, but I'm not sure.
I think we were supposed to have one in Imola and it got cancelled. And of course, how can we forget in the sprint, a new world champion. The world champion was crowned once again. Of course, it's Max Verstappen. He's led since day one of the championship. So no surprises there, but well done for getting it wrapped up. That's 3 in a row now. I don't know, has anyone ever done... Yeah, we have done 4 in a row, I think. We talked about that in a previous episode.
We've done 5 in a row. Schumacher
what was that, Ben?
Schumacher did 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's what I was about to say. I don't think we've ever done 4, but then I remembered we spoke about it a few weeks ago.
Sebastian.
Yeah.
And Les.
Yeah. Did Lewis do 4? Yeah, 17, 18, 19, 20. So, yeah, Verstappen goes next year in the hunt for 4. Obviously, time will tell. Will other cars catch up? The McLaren may make leaps and bounds. They could be in the hunt for the championship next year.
I'm just going to gamble on it next year, my predictions, no matter what. I don't care.
I'm actually tempted to put like a $5 on McLaren at the start of the season. Because if they can keep the development going that they've had this year, I mean, look at the amount of time that they've gained from race 1 to now.
Yeah, but they still need to win a race.
Yeah.
Like, as much as this week we were like 10 seconds off or whatever, that was still Verstappen chilling.
Yeah, Max openly admitted
off the gap.
Was just managing.
Yeah.
I'd just like to cite this meme that I've seen on Twitter. It's the McLaren fan cycle. Brings a literal tractor to Bahrain, dump their entire budget into making tractor fast, climb up the standings, finish season on a high, bring a literal tractor to Bahrain. So, until this cycle breaks, I'm not hedging any bets.
That's true. We'll need to see if Ferrari can do what they've done at the start of 2022 and actually have a fast car. And if Mercedes can finally sort out their and start competing at the front once again, because they've shown glimmers of hope, but they just haven't quite hooked it up completely yet. The race pace just isn't there. They seem to have done a bit of a flip. I remember at the start of last season and also the start of this season saying, oh, the one lap pace isn't there, but the race pace is pretty decent. And now the race pace is horrendous, but the one lap pace is up there. Can they just make an all-round good car again? Please. Thank you.
No.
I mean, you went from P18 to P4 over the course of a race, so I wouldn't say the race pace is terrible.
Well, I went from P2 to P4. That's pretty terrible.
Okay, yeah, fair. But still.
And it should also be noted that Qatar is a bit of a special case considering everyone had to do 3 pit stops.
Yeah, that was...
Shall we talk about that, actually? Can Pirelli please not have a repeat of that next year?
Yeah, there's got to be a
That
bit of
looks
an investigation
horrendous
there.
as the pinnacle of motorsport saying, oh yeah, our tyres can only last 20 laps. You must pit or you will be disqualified.
Led to some great memes.
Yeah. I was so waiting
If
for
they
one
didn't
team
pit,
to
they were
just
going to get
not
black
pit.
flagged.
I was just go that extra lap by accident and be like, that's your race done, mate.
Yeah, miscalculate and
Yeah.
get black flagged.
To be fair, the broadcast did quite a good job of covering off, like, on the graphics, like, must pit no later than, which was helpful considering how confusing the situation was.
Yeah, but it would have been better if the broadcast didn't do that. Teams are sitting like, sitting trying to crunch the numbers. They get it slightly off, disqualified.
I'm sure each team had an array of people with, like, markers and, he's pit on this lap, so he can only go this far and whatever.
Just one person sitting at the back of the garage with a calculator.
Frantically punching in numbers, yeah. It did lead to a couple of cracking memes I saw, like, I think it's Cars 2, with the cameras that cause cars to put the FIA when a car goes for 19 laps. Yeah, it was, I mean, great banter, but at the same time, it shouldn't really be happening. Like, we've been to Qatar before, we knew the curbs were an issue. Now we've come to Qatar and just loading, I guess, was the issue. New surface, and they changed the curb turn 13 between sessions.
So. Yeah.
So there was an FP 1.5 for 10 minutes to let them go and see where the curb was painted, but it was painted, so they had no real idea.
And they also changed the track limits mid-weekend.
Yeah.
And so everyone got penalised for exceeding track limits. It was just a shambles of a race weekend.
Yeah, one to forget from the steward's point of view.
And then, of course, we had the medical issues as well following the main race, to which the FIA have now released a statement, basically saying, "Oh dear, that's not good. We're going to try and not have it happen again," which is good that they've at least acknowledged there was an issue.
Yeah, but they've done this before, though, haven't they? But they've acknowledged that there's an issue, and they've just done nothing about it.
We acknowledged that there was a bit of an incident outside the Saudi Arabian track, but we'll see you next year.
Yeah.
We've acknowledged the teams and the drivers' security concerns, but tough.
Yeah, but yeah, so at least they have acknowledged there was an issue. Time will tell if they fix it. And yeah, what else was there? The stewards were busy.
Yeah.
Through all the sessions.
Track limit.
Yeah.
And that's just Sergio Perez.
Yeah, not even just track limits. The maximum delta time in both qualifying and the sprint shootout.
Yeah, but I swear nobody actually got done for that because they were all like, "Oh yeah, we were getting out of the way of someone else."
Action.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just, "Oh yeah, we were getting out of the way," and it's like you would have
Like, yeah, that's
penalised
fine,
us
mate.
more if we didn't get out of the way. So and they went, "Ah yeah, that's all right then. Carry on." So
To be that excuse does make sense though.
yeah, but
I
it
think
kind of
that's
just
reasonable.
invalidates the whole
Yeah.
maximum lap time thing, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, if you're the only driver on track or whatever, and you're just trundling round, that would then be a "what are you doing?" But yeah, if there's other cars on a fast lap coming up behind you, then you do sort of need to move out of the way. That's why they wave blue flags at you. And Lewis Hamilton was a regular visitor to the stewards this weekend. Because he got summoned for the maximum delta time. Twice, I think.
Yeah, but like
I'm
8
pretty sure
drivers from the first quali session got summoned. So
he was the only one that was properly summoned to the stewards, though.
oh really? The rest
The
was just
rest of
noted.
the rest of them were just noted and investigated. He actually got called to the steward's office to talk about it.
I think we all know why that is.
And then got no further action.
Classic.
And then he was noted again in sprint qualifying for the same offence. No further action. The sprint was relatively incident-free from his point of view. And then in the race, he was summoned twice to the stewards after it, once for causing a collision with George Russell, and for which there was no further action. They deemed it a lap 1, turn 1 incident. And the other one was for crossing a live track, for which he received a reprimand and a €50,000 fine, of which €25,000 is suspended.
Why? Why bother with the suspension? Just fine him 50 grand. He's not like he's short.
Yeah, exactly.
He's one of, if not the highest paid driver on the grid. We moan. Yeah. I've moaned in the past that the teams aren't fined enough for their discretions in free practice sessions and pit lane speeding offences and the whatnot. That was actually a reasonably hefty sum, and they've gone, actually halve it.
To be fair, at least it wasn't like €100.
Yeah,
it was still 25 grand.
Well, it's probably like €100 to him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's probably got some sponsor that will just front him the change.
Hold on, I've got that in my wallet.
Yeah.
So.
And so actually, I think there were many penalties handed out. Sorry, there were many incidents referred to the stewards, but the only penalties handed out were for breach of Parc Fermé regulations and track limits. No one else was penalised for anything else that was investigated by the stewards. The three-way crash in the sprint, no further action.
That was a racing incident.
Yeah. No, what I mean is, like, they investigated it, no further action. Lewis Hamilton, no further action.
They were too busy with track limits, mate.
No further action.
Yeah.
Track limits, real.
They were too busy with that to even bother with anything else.
Also, can we bring back the just on the track limits thing? Can we bring back the way that Formula 2 and Formula 3 used to work track limits, where the penalty got progressively worse?
Yeah, I missed that.
It's just 5 seconds every time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I thought that change to how the penalties worked was only for Austria, because everyone forgot how to drive in Austria.
Well, apparently Austria is Qatar. So.
Unless they done it because they changed the track limits mid-weekend, sat and watched sprint qualifying and were like, oh
Jesus.
Oh no, not again.
Yeah. So I'm just reading the bottom of the race results on the F1 website. Verstappen scored an additional point for setting the fastest lap, blah, 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 blah. Perez and Gasly received 3 5-second penalties for track limits infringements. Stroll and Albon each received 2 5-second penalties for track limits infringements. And that's just like... Is that just what's added on at the end?
No, I think that was total.
Total. Okay, cool. Because there were other penalties that we had. The funniest, least not of which, was Nico Hulkenberg.
No, no.
Yeah, 10 seconds. I forgot about that.
Oh man, Sainz not starting because of a fuel leak because they haven't actually fueled the car up enough to find out that the leak's at that point because it's a sprint weekend, so all of the sessions are low fuel running.
Yeah.
Which is an oof in its own right. But then that means empty grid spot, and then Hulkenberg's gone on autopilot and just driven into the next available grid spot, which is deliberately blank for Sainz, and even still has Sainz's symbol on the side. 10-second time penalty. Oof.
You can see as he pulls up and he stops. He
looks at it and he's like, "Oh no!"
Yeah, he sees a blank grid spot behind him. Is like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
Did he actually gain any positions by doing that though, or did he start in the same?
Well, he started on the dirtier side of the track.
He would have.
He didn't gain any positions.
Yeah, he would have got ahead of 13th, no?
He must have gained 14th. One position.
But he only gained from... Because Sainz was the car ahead of him. So he only moved...
If Sainz was the car ahead of him, that means Sainz was 2 cars ahead of him in terms of position.
No, because he was on the other side of the track.
Was he?
Yeah.
What, he was starting 13th?
Yeah.
So how has he done that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he started right behind Sainz. And he just pulled up.
I'm almost certain he was supposed to start.
I'm just going to pull up.
Oh no, he was 14th. Oh god, he has jumped Alex Albon.
That's why he's got a 10-second time penalty instead of the normal 5.
Yeah, I was going to say that was quite harsh, but now that he's actually jumped a person, fair enough. Alex Albon's just watched him cruise into that empty spot. Like, what?
Yeah. What's going on here? Wait a minute.
Something ain't right.
The funniest, the thing I found quite amusing was I watched the highlights back of the race, and it shows Nico Hulkenberg's penalty, and then it's shown a highlight from later in the race. It just pops up like car incident involving Nico Hulkenberg noted incorrect starting position. Like, I've seen this one before.
Yeah, you knew instantly he's getting a penalty.
Yeah.
As soon as something like that appears on the screen, they almost always get a penalty.
Yeah, so I remember watching it as well and just seeing him just pull up to the grid box. I didn't realise, like, what the hell has he done wrong there? He's like parked up fine.
You're sitting there like he's in his grid spot.
When I saw it, I just saw 55 SAI on the side, and I'm like, you done goofed, son.
That's not you.
Run it back. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but, one of those things.
I love that in the race director's notes, they actually put a table that told every team how many laps they had left on the tyres, set by set.
They just outed everyone before the race, didn't they?
They literally have. There's a lot of them with 0 as well on some of the hards.
What, so you just couldn't use them?
Yeah, they only had 1 set of hards available. In fact, almost every driver, apart from Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Lawson, Tsunoda, Sargent, and Albon, only had one. Oh, and the 2 Alfa Romeos only had 1 set of hards available because they'd obviously completely burned up the other set in FP1.
Yep, that's an oof. Well, it's a combination of FP1 and Sprint Q1 because you have to use hards in that, don't you? So.
No, I think Sprint Q1 is mediums.
I thought it was hard, medium, soft.
No, I think they're allowed to use
I think it's medium.
Okay. Fair enough.
I don't know if they changed it just for Qatar, but I'm pretty sure they used medium this weekend.
That's fair enough, then.
Yeah, but they might have changed it given the Pirelli issue.
Yeah.
So the hards were still available for the race. Anything else we need to talk about? I think that's sort of...
I can confirm that the Qatar sprint was most definitely probably the best sprint this year. The other
Oh,
one
yeah.
was Azerbaijan that we're missing.
Oh, that's how
And
forgetful it was.
Yeah, it wasn't that
So-
exciting, was it? So
At least we've got Sao Paulo coming up.
yeah.
It's always good.
It's,
We must have another sprint. Because there was 6 scheduled.
Yeah,
Mexico.
get it up again. It's America somewhere.
It's not Vegas, and it's not. Is it Kota? It's Kota.
Is
Kota,
Kota
yeah,
a sprint?
Kota. Yeah.
Oh, that'll be good. Hopefully.
Yeah, there's one at Kota and then Brazil, and that's it for the sprints.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, thank God we're not getting a sprint at Abu Dhabi. I think I'd just not watch.
Yeah, the race is bad enough, let alone putting us through a sprint race.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want a second one, please.
Yeah, quite.
I'm hoping they announce the sprint races for next year soon. I want to know what we're getting in for.
Yeah, we'll see.
Now that the calendar's... Why couldn't they just announce it at the same time as the calendar, though? Because they obviously know.
Well, true, but still.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they do more sprints or just the same.
I think it's 6 again.
No idea. Really.
I'm sure they said
they
they
should
wanted
do
another
like
6.
random draws for sprints. It'd be so fun.
No,
The whole
because then we'd
calendar
end
just
up with
in a
Monaco.
and then just get some F1 driver do like the FA Cup draw just with F1 sprints. It'd be so good.
At pre-season testing, just before the
Yeah.
first session starts, standing on the grid. And this year's sprints will be
Yeah.
Monaco, Abu Dhabi.
So like Damon Hill do it. Just get it up.
I was
Monaco
say,
off. It's broken. Damon, you're stupid.
Who's the F1 equivalent of like Dion Dublin and Michael Owen? We've got what Pastor Maldonado and Juan Manuel Juan Pablo Montoya.
Just get David Croft to do it.
Yeah, Michael Owen, you just need.
Now Crofty would be the
in
presenter. Crofty would be the Jake Humphreys.
True.
Who just
Nico
states the
Rosberg.
obvious?
Oh my god, Nico.
Yeah, who just states the obvious all the time?
Nico.
Oh wait, no, Paul Di Resta.
Oh no, we're not bringing him back. We are not bringing him
Yeah.
back. We've got rid of him once already. You let him back in, he's not letting go.
To do the F1 sprint draw live from Bahrain.
Jesus Christ.
He's so good.
Could you imagine that on our pre-season testing watch all? It's like 6:30 in the morning. We're sitting watching the sprint draw. And where are we going this year? Oh,
Yeah,
Monaco,
Abu Dhabi.
Budapest, Abu Dhabi. All of the worst ones. Baku.
France.
Miami.
What I would enjoy is a sprint in Bahrain to start the season.
I don't know though, because it's the start of the season.
Exactly. So if something's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong in Bahrain, and we get to see it twice.
Yeah, I can see both flips. I don't think the teams would be very happy.
In Bahrain, you could spice it up even more. If Bahrain comes out the hat, you need to use the outer lip.
I've been saying we can do that anyway. For
It's just want the outer loop back.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It's like the streets will never forget of F1. It's just secure outer loop.
Bring back the Sakir Grand Prix.
That's what the
track was it they were talking
calendar was. Just a draw we're going to.
Yeah, literally.
China. Oh no. No.
No, not this year. We've still not been back.
Yeah.
There was a track recently that they were talking about could go forwards and backwards on the calendar.
Probably Qatar.
It's actually set up for that. No, it wasn't Qatar.
Oh, I don't know then. If it's actually set up for that, I really don't know.
Where have we been recently?
Singapore.
It might have been Japan.
No, the runoffs are wrong for that. No way. Think of the 130R for a start.
True.
Yeah. There's Singapore, Monza, Zandvoort.
It's definitely not Monza.
Definitely not Zandvoort.
I may have made that up,
I
but
think you have.
I thought I heard someone in commentary say that the circuit was unique because it could be run in both directions.
Maybe at lower categories it's got the clearance to
Mm.
do so, but Formula
Yeah.
One.
I reckon it's Spa. It's going down radical.
I mean, that solves the visibility issue.
Yeah, it's it. It's Mark Webber again.
But no, not that I'm aware of. No circuit has received front and back homologation.
Yeah, I know
from-
nothing's received grade 1
Yeah,
forwards
no.
and backwards. I just remember them saying it, that it could be run in both directions.
I mean, anything can be run in both directions if you're brave enough.
Yeah, true.
No F1
But
truck
Silverstone the wrong way. That's not that bad.
I think
Apart from
Maggots
maybe
and Beckett's
Cops.
is interesting.
Yeah, Cops as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Although
straight
you've got
into that
wide
grandstand.
runoff on the straight.
The grandstand's still looking mighty close.
Mm.
yeah. I feel like the
And suddenly the entry into the exit of Luffield.
Yeah.
entering the pit lane would be insane, though.
It's
Let's
down
just
the
go
hill.
down the hill.
Roman
No,
Grosjean
it's
would not
so
enjoy
fun.
that one.
But yeah, I'm just going to pull up or unless you've got them in your book, the predictions from last week.
Yeah, I
we
got
can.
'em.
Cool, go for it.
In last place was yourself. You
Woo!
scored 4 points for correctly predicting Verstappen on pole and Verstappen to win the race. In
Great success.
joint second is Nia, myself, and Sonia for Verstappen and Norris predictions. And then in first place was Ben for putting Norris correctly in third place.
Oh, get in!
So,
Oh yeah, because I went Norris. No, Norris.
Sainz,
Norris.
Norris.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas
And-
I went Norris Sainz, not Sainz Norris. So, oof.
No one got the sprint points.
Yeah, no one got the sprint point.
I did put sprint pole in, but I was wrong on that as well.
Yeah, I didn't bother writing down sprint pole because it's not one we've done before.
I
So
couldn't
I
remember.
ignored
To
it.
be
Making
honest,
up
it's been
the
that long
rules
since a
again.
sprint race.
I just ignored it.
But yeah, I got it wrong anyway, so it didn't matter.
Means that the gap at the top is now only 3 points. I'm on 77, Ben's on 74, Nia is on 72, Chris, you're on 63, and Sonia is on 62.
Bold predictions.
I'm gonna completely veto Ben's.
What was mine?
I think it was the curbs, wasn't it?
No, that
Or was that you, Chris?
and was Alonso to moan about the car exactly 3 times on the radio during the race.
I don't think he
He
particularly.
moaned once about it being too hot.
Yeah.
So I'll take one.
But is that
Out of
really about
3.
the car?
Well, I mean, the car was
Well,
hot,
how
and
is
that's
it
what
not
he was
about the
moaning
car?
about. So you know,
He was moaning that the seat was hot and the seat's in the car, so it's part
Because
of the car.
everyone was hot.
yeah, Chris,
Yeah,
it's
it's
yours
real
that
moan.
it's yours that I'm vetoing. The curbs caused 0 pit stops, so I'm going to completely veto that as say the curbs caused about 50 pit stops.
Yeah.
Was it the curbs that caused the pit stops, or was it just
They were
Pirelli
part.
tyres?
Combination,
Technically, yeah, it's a mix of both.
because the curbs were adding additional loading. So
So, I mean, I would say fair to you to put the blame on Pirelli for screwing up your bowl prediction.
but that doesn't
Okay,
change
I
anything.
will write to them and
Yeah.
be like,
Yeah.
"What have you done?"
Yeah.
This is a
You
disgrace.
lost. Yeah.
Nia didn't put in a bold prediction, and I said Perez within 3/10 of Max in quali.
Uh,
no one was
so-
in 3/10 of Max in quali, so that didn't
Well,
work. did it?
someone should have been, but they got their track limits done. So,
Yeah, well,
Lap down, showdown.
do we have to
it's-
make up Nia's bold prediction?
No, because she's not getting it anyway. So
So we play.
it's an interesting one on the old lap down showdown this week because technically it happened as Sargent pulled in to retire. So I've kind of ignored him from it because he was retiring,
Yeah.
which means
So
that
That's outrageous.
the next car in front of him was Nico Hulkenberg.
which nobody said.
No. And it was on lap 41 as Max drove past, and he finished 1 lap down.
Ben will be especially raging.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fuming.
Because he said
This
Logan
has been
lap
manipulated.
32 DNF.
He's retiring.
Spurs against Liverpool again.
Okay.
I still didn't see that.
What we will check. We will check the driver tracker.
Yeah,
I went on the driver
we can
tracker,
do, mate.
and it just says because it's so slow on it. Like
if he was on the circuit,
no, he's in the pit lane,
and was waved blue flags, we will give you the points.
He was in the pit lane when Max went past.
No. I don't think he was.
He was. I've been on the driver tracker.
Yeah, but you let. Oh, he was already in front of him though.
We are about to double check.
I checked on the driver tracker. It's the end of lap 40, start of lap 41. He's already in the pits.
You're stuffed. If it doesn't, you're all right.
I checked it like 20 minutes before recording, so
we're just giving Ben this glimmer of hope.
I'm willing to absolutely shoot it down straight away because I'm thorough.
Right, lap 40. There we go. Play. Oh, Verstappen's nowhere near him. Oh exactly. Yeah, Ben, you're humped. Completely humped.
He's miles back.
Verstappen was at turn 14 when Sargent went into the pits. Oh wait, no. Actually, that's not right because it was end of lap.
End of lap 41.
Yeah. Even then, he's still nowhere near him. Yeah. No. Sorry, Ben. Hulkenberg was first.
Got it, mate.
It has been decided.
So no winners, basically.
Pretty much.
So,
who got the closest lap?
Ben. But he
there we go.
He didn't get the correct number of laps down.
Oh, Ben, you get 1 point. That's it.
Yeah, it did.
So you win.
Nothing.
Because everyone else got 0 points.
Hey, everyone else said 1 lap down final.
Oh yeah, true.
So
everyone got 1 point.
It's a draw.
So it's a draw. Was there any news this week apart from Max Verstappen, world champion?
Andretti.
McLaren.
Yes, Andretti have been approved by the FIA. But have still to be approved by the F1 Commission.
I want to raise a point of why are the other F1 teams allowed a say in who can and can't join? I don't care. They shouldn't be allowed a say. Period.
I agree.
WEC has shown exactly why teams shouldn't be allowed a say on who can and cannot join, because the amount of posts I've seen in the last 3, 4, 5 months of this team's joining in 2024, this team's joining in 2024, this team is also joining in 2024, and oh, by the way, Aston Martin's joining in 2025. We're just not getting the same level of input. Okay, let's not go crazy and add 7 new teams on the grid, but let's also not just disregard everyone that tries to approach.
Yeah, and the problem I think with Formula One lies in the Concord Agreement.
Yeah,
and that the teams
that runs out in 25, doesn't it?
Not only imposed a 100 million price tag, I'm pretty sure it was, on anyone wanting to join, that goes to the teams almost as oh yeah, sorry, we're joining. Here's some money, but they also then get a say in who joins, and the sporting regulations are partially at fault because they state that a maximum of 24 cars may be on the grid. So there is only 2 slots.
Yeah, but that's still 2 slots we haven't filled.
We've
had 2 teams approach. One of them has been rejected. That was Rodin Carlin. They tried to put in a bid for a Formula One team. That got shot down.
By the FIA or
I believe that was an FIA shutdown. But someone with the automotive powerhouse behind them that is Andretti, who are bringing Cadillac along with them. Those are 2 big names in the world of motorsport and motor vehicles, respectively, that's not something to be like messing around with.
Yeah,
If they're coming in, they're coming with some serious backing.
Yeah.
That's not a team
only
that's
to be met with the budget gap.
Okay, yeah, but that's not a team that's going to be like Haas and scrape by.
We're not looking at a Minardi situation.
No, exactly.
Or
a Force India.
Yeah. But even then, Force India survived for a good few years.
Yeah, like this is the thing with teams.
I'm saying like your Caterhams and stuff.
Spikers.
You don't want it to be like, what is it, 2014 when there was like 12 teams. There was like Caterham,
Marussia,
and two of them just like folded mid-season.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's what was the one in like 2015, like Maron or something.
Mana,
yeah.
But no, like someone with the backing of Andretti is not just gonna pack up shop mid-season.
Yeah.
Like that's American automotive industry completely powering that team. And it'd be good to actually have an actual American F1 team rather than this sort of hybridized we're American Haas F1 team.
We're American, but everything's in Maranello.
Everything's in Maranello and a bit in the UK. Like,
yeah.
Not really American, is it?
Because every F1 team needs a bet in the UK.
Well, yeah, quite.
That's the rules.
It's kind of like it's as American as the troops in World War II. they were stationed in Italy and the UK, so there you go.
Who would have thought they got his shouts out this year?
Hey, if they want to set up shop on the American Air Force bases, that's American land, technically. Then by all means, you can call yourself American. Until then, you're not really American.
I can't wait if Andretti join and they just have.
It's got to be an absolute screaming eagle on the car. It's got to be.
And then just Freebird behind it as it just storms past like a Williams on a straight.
What did you spend your budget on? Fitting this speaker to the car.
So good.
Blasts out the Star-Spangled Banner every time.
When is it they would be looking to join the grid if this all gets approved? Is it 2025?
I think it's either 5 or 6. Not entirely sure what's been said on it. It's all just they've been approved.
Disappointing that it's not 4. To be fair,
that'd be a push given we're at the end of the season already. And I think if you want to make something a success, you want to give it time to actually build a successful base. But then again, we say that they might not join for a while.
Ages.
Yeah, but still infrastructure. If they're going to be joining,
that's what I mean. It's like we've known they've wanted to join for ages, so we could have had it in place for them joining next season. But it's Formula One. It's bureaucracy.
But at the same time, you're not going to build all of the infrastructure if you've not been approved. You're not going to waste You're not going to waste all of that money. And
then Haas, you're American, right? Can we borrow?
Yeah,
from
fly to Italy.
2025. The earliest is
2025.
2025. But I'm guessing if they can't build in time, they can just join 2026.
2026 to me would probably make the most sense.
Yeah, with a new engine.
New engine regs. They don't have to then either A, be a customer team for a year, or B, design an entire spec of engine for one season.
Yeah.
Because if they design a 2026 engine and then ran that in the 2025 car, they'd be down on power.
Yeah, and would also probably be disqualified. Because there's probably other tweaks to the engine that don't work with the current technical regs.
It wouldn't be the first time in F1's history that we've had two different kinds of engine being run. Now I'm thinking back to the naturally aspirated versus turbo era.
Yeah.
But that was a time where the technical regulations were significantly less stringent on these are the parts of
wheels.
Yeah, but at the minute it's like you have this many parts of this component to use over the season, and it's like you don't have this component in your car, so how are we going to regulate that?
Yeah.
So They just like stick a Duracell battery on the side, wire it in, and say MGUH.
But I don't think Williams would be happy with that.
All right, fine. Get the Energizer Bunny on it then.
Yeah, there you go. There's a bit of rivalry there.
Yeah. But you know,
The battery wars at the back of the grid.
Yeah, I think realistically 26 is best shout.
You just see
Gives them
the Williams breakdown at the start of the straight, and then the Andretti at the end and be like, have that, mate, come on.
It gives them another year to get some infrastructure built in terms, like they've already got some factory of some description to do their NASCAR and their IndyCar and all that sort of stuff, so they can repurpose sections of that for a time. But I don't know, do they have a wind tunnel? Do they have all of this, that, and the other? Like,
yeah,
because
if they don't, they will just rent another team.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's all well and good they have this existing infrastructure for their IndyCar, but if you try and put an F1 team on top of that, and suddenly you've got scheduling conflicts, and that's not going to work. You need to expand to accommodate.
Yeah.
And giving them that extra year would probably allow them to get extra CNC machines online.
Exactly.
So, my money would be on 26.
Any other news?
Yeah, there's a couple of other things. McLaren hold the record for the fastest pit stop in F1 history.
Yes, 1.80.
Yeah.
Beat the 1.82.
Yeah.
That's
very good. Nothing else?
There was two other things. Jess Hawkins done a test session for Aston Martin, and to Nico Rosberg it was faster than the official test driver,
which is Felipe Drugovich, is it not?
Yes. I guess so. Yes,
which is interesting.
But it was Nico Rosberg's words, so
no, I saw the interview.
Let's see how true it is. It was Nico Rosberg that said it.
I mean, he seemed pretty gassed about it, to be honest, because he was he was like, I've seen the lap times, and I'm not going to go into like exact details, but they were quicker than Aston Martin's test driver.
We also don't know, obviously, run plans and everything as well. Lap times aren't. Because remember Helmut Marko as well being like, oh yeah, I've seen Daniel's lap time. It was enough for, what was it, top 10? And it just wasn't.
This is Helmut Marko, though. He's a bit different. Nico is one thing. Helmut Marko's in a league of his own.
Did you know that Nico Rosberg beat Lewis Hamilton in equal machinery in 2016?
And lastly, FIA President Mohammed Ben Salem wants more teams and fewer races. I don't care that we want him in the bin. He's speaking truth there. It's actually got some, he says some good things, at least.
I mean, Hamilton's backed Andretti to come in, so,
Yeah.
We've got one driver on board.
Yeah, if he says more teams as just Andretti and that's it, then, maybe words should be said, but...
It's still more than we've got.
Yeah, I'll take it at this point. It's two more
that's
seats,
not teams, though, is it? That's just a team.
Yeah, but we've had the same 10 teams for what?
6 years?
Yeah, 6 years now.
Barring some name changes and identity crises. But, it's largely been the same ones.
2017,
was it? Is Renault.
Yeah.
Aston Martin is Racing Point.
What was the Alpha Tauri is Toro Rosso.
Yeah, quite literally.
Like, there's no change there.
But change next year.
Well, we don't actually know that yet.
Hugo Boss.
Boss Racing.
Until they announce their new name, I'm working on the assumption that it's still going to be Alpha Tauri.
I'm going to be very disappointed if they do a rebrand, because the Alpha Tauri merch is by far the best on the grid.
Yeah, but
Toro
Bosso.
Toro Bosso.
Would be so good. It would be so amazing. I just want to see it just for that. Just for the fact that someone said that as a joke on a TikTok comment, and everyone's just run with it. It's the greatest team name anyone's ever suggested.
It is very good.
Toro Rosso, Hugo Boss, Toro Bosso, job done.
So it's just Red Boss.
Red Boss.
Yeah.
That's what Red Boss.
Wait, no, Toro's Bull, so it's Bull Boss.
Is it?
Toro Rosso is Bull Red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
anyway, I think now's a good time to wrap up. I don't think we've got anything else to talk about. Join us next week, where we'll be previewing the United States Grand Prix from Circuit of the Americas with F1 Academy live on Sky Sports, confirmed by Formula One.
Mm-hmm.
So for the first time in its history,
and for the last time this year, is it the last round?
Yeah, it's their last round.
Yeah.
But for the first time in history, F1 Academy will be broadcast live and uninterrupted, hopefully.
I'll be interrupted by safety cars now.
Nico Rosberg.
Danica Patrick.
Well, can they get Nico and
oh my god, can I just say there's one thing that annoys me about the American commentators, and I don't know if it's just Danica's accent brings it out explicitly in me or what, but when she was, I can't remember which one, I think it was Singapore. Was she at Singapore? She was at one of the races not long ago.
She was at Singapore.
And she didn't call them straights. She called them straightaways. And it's not just her that does it. I know a lot of American people do it. And it just why? It's
What's
straight.
Yeah.
It's
what's a runway in America?
It's
you want to run away?
It's so unnecessary. It's like calling your glasses your eyeglasses. It's like, where else are you putting them? Like,
yeah, you can put them in the trunk.
Oh, I know.
The sidewalk, it's the pavement, mate.
Yeah.
But the straightaways, oh god, that the more times I heard it, the more progressively annoyed I got.
I also heard everyone kick off at Danica Patrick when she was on the last F1 Kids broadcast, I'm pretty sure.
Oh god, I don't know.
For basically saying girls don't have the strength to be Formula One drivers.
I mean,
is it hungry?
But
although
that's why they're looking at putting in power steering into the junior formulas, is it not? To make it more even. Because F1 has a bit of power steering behind it, but F2 and the 3 don't. So to even it out, they were looking at adding power steering. So is she really that wrong? I know it's not.
I think it was the way she said it.
It probably is the tone behind it, but like
on the F1 Kids broadcast as well.
Yeah,
time and a place.
Yeah, but even then,
actually, we didn't get a chance. I don't think we spoke about that. That does look pretty good.
I've not watched it.
I've not watched it, but
careful.
I've seen screen grabs from Formula One and stuff.
I don't get why they can't
just
use the drivers' faces and why they had to cartoonify everyone.
Yeah, that's a bit. But
cartoon the car, fine. Just slap his face in.
How are you meant to cartoon the car? It's just going around the track.
No, but like in the graphic when they bring it up at the bottom and it's like, he's just sat in his little cartoon car. But it's like some AI created bad version of George Russell in a cartoon Mercedes. Just put George's face in it.
The graphics do look quite good, to be fair.
I mean, yeah, some of the
they
other
look
ones
very eye-catching. Do you think I prefer those graphics to the current 2023 graphics?
Damn.
I miss the old timing tower. Can we bring it back?
Well, I miss the timing tower because half the time it doesn't bloody turn up.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the 2021 timing tower was just perfect. Just bring it back. There's nothing wrong with it.
It'll change again in like a few years' time anyway. So
thank you, Formula 2 and Formula.
Definitely changing in 26.
thank you, Formula 2 and Formula 3, for keeping the 2021 timing tower. Your service is appreciated.
This is when they change it for the last round of the F2 this year, just to really annoy you.
Yeah, we're testing out next year's one.
Oh yeah, well, it's a really random point, but what colour will they use for F1 Academy?
Well, it's like
Because Formula 2 is blue, Formula 3 is white. Freca was like an orange.
Purple's on the cards because that's what W Series was. So
yeah, but W Series used their own colour scheme. It was just wrong.
Yeah, but like still, the purple would work.
Yeah, the purple accents rather than full purple. That was hideous. But yeah, purple accents could work. Or I guess their like brand identity is a sort of faded bluey pink, I think.
It's a gradient of the light blue into a purpley pink sort of colour.
So they might pick somewhere in that range as well.
Yeah, it's like an Alpine, just gradient.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll find that out next week. What colour they use. This is where they just put up white. And was like,
we're boring. Just put up
white.
the Formula 1 ones and leave it at that.
No, they're bad.
Well, I mean, that's what they've been doing on the YouTube ones. So
yeah, fair.
I'd imagine it's probably going to be those ones.
They're still bad. But anyway, yes, that does now wrap up this week's episode of the Turn 5 podcast. Join us next week for COTA and F1 Academy. We will see you then. Ta-ra for now.
Predictions next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're previewing COTA.
Yeah, okay, whatever.